That way I do not forget it. All right, just say this again. Welcome, everybody. If you would, and if you've not already done it, but if you would, in the chat area, go ahead and put in the number from 0 to 10 on your knowledge of Chat GPT. 0 meaning I don't know anything. 10 is yes, I use it daily and loving it. And then also go ahead and tell us kind of where you're from. We'd like to know where people are from. I'm in down in the southwest corner of Missouri, down to a small town called Bolivar.
I am in northeast Missouri in St. Louis.
St. Louis area. Shawnee, Kansas. Been through there a few times. Wichita, 0, 0.
It looks like a 0 and a 1. It'll be our goal today to get you guys at least up to a 5, maybe shooting for a 6 or 7. So
absolutely. Just wait a couple more minutes and see if we can get there. Hi, Jeannie. How are you doing?
Fine. I just did unmute.
Oh.
I'm ready to go.
All right. Awesome. How long have you been in the real estate business?
No more than 25.
No more than 25. Well, I have been helping real estate agents since 1991. And you guys are a special breed. So I try to do everything that I do everything I can to help you guys out. Absolutely. I know our last session we had several people show up late, so you may see me clicking. If I'm sharing my screen, you may see, I'm not sure if they show the little box about letting
No,
people...
it doesn't show the box. It
okay.
Just looks like you're clicking randomly.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Oh,
we've got a lot to talk about, and it is really starting time. I want to honor your guys' time and make sure that we stick to a time frame, because literally I can go on and on and on, and I don't want to waste your time, but at the same time want to give you everything that you deserve as far as information and stuff, and we'll just let people come in as they come in. Cody, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, let's do it. So, first and foremost, welcome to the webinar today. Just a little bit of outline, what we're going to be covering. We're going to do quick intros for Mark and myself. And then after that, we're going to dive into some baseline terminology that you need to know to be successful, not only this webinar, but just using Chat GPT, especially, I saw a couple people, we haven't really learned anything about AI or Chat GPT yet. So we're going to really make sure you've got that good foundation. And then after that, we're going to dive into how you can utilize Chat GPT in your real estate business. And we're going to kind of focus on Mark's core strategies. It's an acronym that we'll dive into in a little bit. And from there, we're hoping that you guys will kind of walk away feeling as empowered real estate agents who can apply Chat GPT to your business. You're going to understand what the core strategies are and really embrace that technologically empowered real estate agent title, if you will. So that's the goal for today. My name is Cody. I am the program director over here at Workflow Secrets. I am a real estate technologist by trade. I'm also kind of calling myself an AI and ChatGPT enthusiast. And I am a prompt engineer. And then by the end of the webinar, I'm hoping you guys can also add prompt engineer to the many titles you guys get to wear as real estate agents.
Absolutely. And if you don't know me, my name is Mark Stepp. I've been around the business for some time. I am a co-founder of RealVolve. CRM for real estate agents. I'm the chief innovation officer. I'm a software engineer, and real estate technologist, been doing this for 30 plus years. And at this point, 32, I guess, this year. Cody and I actually authored a book called Workflow Secrets, Our Best, have it upside down, Our Best Workflow Secrets. And this is a real estate agent's guide to success in real estate. And it's something that if you guys are interested in it, certainly it's available through Amazon. We do have some opportunities for some PDF versions of that as well, if you're interested. I have been using AI Chat GPT for some time now, and just really enjoying what it can do for our business, but also sharing what it can do for real estate agents. And through all that, you're going to hear some terminology in that. Prompt engineer is something that a lot of people are throwing around, that they are a prompt engineer. And it's really just a way, and we're going to discover some more parts of that, but it's just a way of saying, hey, I can ask good questions and make good statements. So prompt engineering is something that's fun, and technically anybody can do it.
That's right.
So what we will be talking about in this particular session is talking about AI, ChatGPT. But what I want you to understand is there are many different options out there. ChatGPT itself is not the only option. OpenAI was the ones that created ChatGPT, and they are doing this with Microsoft. But there's Sparrow, there's Bard, there's Jasper, there's lots of other potential comers to this arena. ChatGPT has just caught the attention of everybody because it is so user-friendly and is so good to use. So
yeah, and I think, it's kind of worth noting too, there's this fun little phrase in Silicon Valley that the winners are oftentimes shot in the back by pioneers, which just kind of means, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Sparrow, Bard, all of these, Jasper, all of these companies, they're on the board now, they're succeeding, but over probably the next year or so, we're going to watch them battle out. And I think over the next maybe 3 to 5 years, the entire landscape could take a dramatic shift. So it's really important for us not to get so fixated on any specific name, but really understand the concepts or the tool and how to use it. And so I just want you guys to really focus, not again on the company, but really on what they can do for you.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well put. So what is OpenAI and ChatGPT? And technically, it's just a type of artificial intelligence, just meaning computer software that's doing stuff that is intelligent, that allows users to interact with a virtual assistant using natural language, NLP, natural language programming. And the GPT part of ChatGPT, the chat part is, you're just typing in, you're chatting just like you would on your phone or any other thing. Everybody's used to chatting. The GPT part of this is the generative pre-trained transformer. Now, those 3 words as an acronym, the generative part just means it's generating the text. The pre-trained means it's using human interaction to train that generative part to say, hey, this is right or this is wrong. It can generate something, and then it relies on humans to come in there and say, yes, that is correct, or no, that is not correct. And over time, the generation part of it gets better and better and better. And if you would have looked at OpenAI, a few years ago, the technologies wasn't there. I mean, it was kind of like, yeah, this is good, but it's not quite there yet. And in November of this past year, they really stepped up the game and showed huge promise, and that was why they grew so fast. The
That's
transformer
right.
part of this, let me go one step further. The transformer part of this is it takes that generative piece, the pre-trained piece, it learns what it's done, and it will transform what it has learned into actual language stuff that we can understand based off of questions we've asked. So
That's right. And so sorry to cut you off, Mark, but it's also kind of worth noting, just or open AI rather specifically, they started as a nonprofit with the goal of humanity over shareholder profits, and they really wanted to keep AI technology available to the public, not stuck behind a paywall, not in the big tech giants' hands, not for the elites of Wall Street. And so they've started that way, but they've actually been able to gain a pretty big market share because of that system. And so I think that they're a really interesting one to keep in mind, just kind of looking forward to.
Absolutely. Okay, so what can ChatGPT help me with? As a real estate agent, you guys have lots and lots of hats that you wear. You hire assistants to do certain things that need to be done. But all in all, if you just did a quick look of some of the things that ChatGPT can actually help you with, I created a quick list. Now, this is not a comprehensive list, but it's a pretty standard list of things that most agents are finding useful. Particularly property descriptions, coming up with those descriptions for MLS and some of the other things that you do for marketing and stuff, all the marketing material, different types of real estate content, customer communications, the contract templates. There's lots of templates out there for states and stuff. I know most people don't really need those templates because they're provided by our brokers and stuff, but there are things that you can use for special needs and be able to come up with those comparables, valuations, phone scripts, ISA scripts, stuff like that, email templates, SMS templates, blog. There's just a kind of anything that creates words that you want to present to somebody. It's something that ChatGPT can typically help you with.
That's right. And I also want to note here, we're asking the question, what can it do to help me? I feel like a lot of people ask the question, what jobs will it perform? And, there's two camps of people, but I would encourage you guys to just decide to take an abundance mindset, because it's not that it's going to be taking away or performing any specific job for you, but it's actually going to be helping you, making your job much easier, making you have time for better jobs. A really great example of this is from a software engineering standpoint. You could be looking at lines and lines and lines and lines of code that might take you an entire day just to find, say, a missing parenthesis. Well, that single missing parenthesis could make everything go out of whack. If we, however, plug that into ChatGPT, it could say, hey, your error is right here, and the reason it erred out is because of this, and this is how you fix it. And it could do that in 30 seconds. Well, now that you solved your entire day's worth of work in 30 seconds, what can you do? What can you build? What can you dream up? How can you make things better? And I think that when we take that abundance mindset, we're just going to find a lot of really cool stuff that we can do.
Absolutely. Oh man, this thing's going crazy here. Hang on a second. Letting more people in here. All right. So if you were to look at ChatGPT, and if you've never logged into it, you just go to ChatGPT and the website. We can give you the website link here in a little bit. It's going to open up to an area where you can start typing in, again, just like you were typing in to Messenger or your text message on your phone, whatever. You're going to have a block of area where you can actually type a question of some sort. And this is just an example of one that I had already created, where I had typed in a prompt, and then it comes back and it shows a lot of content. Create a property description for a 2-story home with 4 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, 2-car garage, large family room, goes on and on. And what it does is it takes that basic question, that prompt, and it generates from its knowledge base of how English speaking people speak, and puts together a very nice and eloquently written piece of text. Now, is it right? Is it wrong? That's for you to look at.
Right. And I think, on that note, when it's wrong spectacularly. But when it's right in a very highly tuned way. And so the word that I want to share with you guys today, this is kind of my like coined word, but it's the word discernment. And I like to follow up with the question, would you give the keys to your 1965 Mustang to your 16-year-old? The answer is probably no, because they don't have the ability to make discernment. So just in that same way, we as the experts, we as the individuals who are working with ChatGPT need to make sure that we use discernment or the ability to judge well what kind of information we're putting into ChatGPT, as well as what kind of information it's giving out. We don't just want to take the info that it gives us, copy it, throw it on an email, on a text message, on a buyer's agreement, whatever it is. We don't want to just throw it on there and call it a good day. We need to make sure that we read it, review it, understand it, maybe tweak it to ensure that it fits our needs best, so that we are, we're not using a tool improperly.
Yeah. And it's going to take you, a lot longer to write it from scratch than ChatGPT would, but at least it gives you something to baseline off of, and then you can make some minor modifications, and it's going to take up a whole lot less time than if you had to write it from scratch. So
that's right.
That's what's important there.
Yeah, and so in that regard, we're talking about how we're putting in information, and that's kind of what the term prompt is. It's basically the conversation between you and ChatGPT, the bot, and you're prompting it by giving it information and asking for it to give you back responses.
Absolutely. And whenever you get to that point where you're doing that frequently, that's where you start the terminology of prompt engineering. You're actually engineering, you're looking at the relevance of what you're asking. You're determining, does it give you really what your results want to be? And if not, then you're going in to correct it. So it's just a matter of the skill of asking or stating the information to GPT so it's understandable. And if you think about it, it means like if you were to have a brand new hire, an assistant or somebody, and you need to explain some process to them, that explanation needs to be fairly good. So whenever you do that with ChatGPT, it's the same thing. You're just asking the right question in the right way. And if it's not quite right, you go back, you ask it a different way, or you add a little bit to the prompt to help it understand what you're actually wanting.
That's right.
So whenever you start asking that, and that example I was showing earlier, it was actually seeding. There's another terminology that we want to make sure you understand, and it's called seeding. And it's seeding or priming. It's a matter of giving ChatGPT some extra content or context as well that helps it understand what you want in return. I could ask it a very, very basic question, and it's going to give me a very basic answer back. But that answer is probably not what I really want. A key example of this was, I'm not sure how many times I've seen on YouTube some examples. People are going out to YouTube trying to learn ChatGPT, which is great, but you really have to be careful about what you're watching and taking in, because there was some of the people that were actually training says, okay, all you have to do is say, create a property description for an address. And you just, that was the prompt. Create a property description for this address, 123 South Main. And it'll come back and it'll print up something, but it's not going to be right at all. So you have to seed it with, like I gave that example earlier, of 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage with whatever. And then it'll take that information, that seeded information, and create something that's much more accurate, much more usable without any kind of modification.
That's right. And that is when you step into that role as the prompt engineer, because you're the one who's ensuring that the output that ChatGPT is giving you is correct because you've given it good input, right? Another good example before we move on, over here at Workflow Secrets, I had about 170-page Google Doc that I went and in one of the specific sidebars of ChatGPT, I started plugging in all this information, all about who we are, what we do, who we help, who you guys are as real estate agents, what you do. I took pretty well most of the book that we wrote and I started entering it in as well. And so now I have this really cool sidebar of ChatGPT that understands who I am. So now I don't have to give it additional context. I can just ask it questions and it can give me highly tuned information back because it already knows all that about me. So I did spend a little extra time to get that in, but now I'm getting better outputs because I seeded in that information.
Absolutely. So when it comes down to what we're going to train today, those were the terminologies that we're going to need. The last one here really is C.O.R.E. Whenever you got all the information through email about what we were teaching, it was going to be about C.O.R.E. and ChatGPT. C.O.R.E. is an acronym that I created some time ago, and it's the different elements that as real estate agents, these are the different elements of your business. There is conversion. This is everything that happens from the time you create a lead magnet, somebody goes to the website or obtains that lead magnet somehow. They enter information about themselves to get that lead magnet, and that information comes to your database and you start nurturing them. And ultimately you want to convert them to either a buyer's agreement, seller agreement being signed. That is the conversion process. And there are so many things that you do as a real estate agent just for that one section, but that's the conversion section. Now, then there's the operations. Once they sign that listing agreement, that buyer's agreement, then everything from that point, including, all the pre-marketing, MLS, pre-MLS, listing, marketing, buyer comes in and now you have contract, you have inspections, you have closing, everything that happens from that signing of the agreement all the way to signing day whenever you close, that's the operations. That's your moneymaker. That's the things that you want to be happening all the time. The problem is for most real estate agents, they get into this sine wave, kind of up and down in their business. They're doing really good within their operations, but they don't have time to spend in the conversions a lot of times. So whenever they don't spend the time in there, they're not bringing in new leads. So 90 days from that point, it starts slowing down. So now your operations go down, but your conversions need to go up. So you kind of get into this constant up and down. And what we want to do is help you use the technology to be able to keep your wave much smaller, and even, flatlining if possible between conversion, operation, and retention. Now, retention is that part of your business. Once they close, everything you do until they sign again. The events you do, the nurturing you do, the newsletters and everything that you do to keep your name in front of those past clients so that they become future buyers, future sellers, and good referral people for you whenever people come around that need your services. And then the experiences. Now, the three main one are conversions, operations, and retention. The experience, though, is wrapping all those together so that you give your clients a world-class experience through all three of those. And so we break those down. We give you examples of different things that you can do in each one of those elements. And what we're going to do today is show you some of the prompts. We're just not going to be able to hit all of them. I have hundreds of prompts that we've created, and we're just going to hit on a few of them in each one of these categories and talk about them. Now, I do encourage you guys, if you want to unmute yourself, ask a question, by all means do that. That's why we're doing this live. We want to make sure that you guys get your answers to the questions that you've got. So let's be sure to do that. So let's go ahead and go live. Or did you have anything else, Cody, while I get this prepped?
No, I think that's it. As we're moving, those are the basic terms, and I know we just sped through them. I know a lot of you guys are still getting that foundation, that's what the replay's for. I would encourage you, let's go back, let's take some time, let's open up OpenAI's Chat GPT, let's get in there. But we're going to move on from the webinar and then circle back to the replay and continue just building on those notes.
Yeah. So as I do this, if something, it kind of runs by you real quick, once you get the replay, you can go through there, but definitely ask questions if you have questions asked. So, I don't know where everybody's at. I know, I think it was Jeannie said that she's been in business for no less than 25 years, where everybody is at in their life cycle of being a real estate agent. I don't know that, but I'm going to start the very beginning just for a moment's sake and start as if you're a brand new agent. And a lot of agents, what they do is they will go out and just start buying and selling, helping buyers and sellers from all different realms. And they really don't have any kind of speciality. And then they're in there, in the red water, the bloody waters of all the sharks that are out there and really get beat up. And one of the things that I teach is, you really need to have some kind of speciality, some kind of niche of some sort. And a lot of coaches do this. They train you on this. Some people like it, some people don't. But for practice sake, if you don't mind, we're going to go through this. And what I've got is, just show you real quick, I've got a huge spreadsheet of all these different prompts and things. And I'm going to go over just a few of these so that you guys kind of know what we're doing. So the very first one is I want to, as a real estate agent, maybe I want to have some kind of niche. I want to create some kind of speciality as a real estate agent. So being specialized in that area to give myself a unique advantage over the other agents in my area. The advertising I do, the posts that I do, all the different things that I do, if I narrow it down to a very specific criteria of speciality, then the people that fit that speciality are more likely to come to me than just a general practitioner of real estate. Now, a lot of people say, well, if I become too specialized, then nobody will, find me. And there's a fine balance in there. But what we want to do is maybe create a list. If you don't have a niche of any type, we're going to use this as a prompt for ChatGPT. Create a list of 100 niche ideas. So basically, I'm giving it a command that I want it to create a list, and I'm giving it a definition of what that list is. I want to tell it that, hey, I'm a real estate agent, and I'm using this because I want to have some kind of specialization so that I have a unique advantage over other agents in the area. Very simple, very straightforward. And I press enter on that, and then it starts coming back with all kinds of information. What is it that I could specialize in? And it's going to start going through and creating 100 of these. Now, I really don't need 100 of these right now, but just rest assured that it's going to go on. Now, one thing that's interesting is it's already got this list. Why it takes so long to generate this, it's more of a case of they're trying to save time, waste your time, and get to a point where you're not using their computer as much as you think you are. But the delay, I mean, it's delaying, fractions of a second between each word just to irritate you more than anything. But I'm going to click on stop generating. You can stop the process. So it's stopped at 50 at this point. And I can go through and I can start looking at the different things that I might want to specialize in. Sustainable and eco-friendly homes. And definitely that's a good one. Tiny homes, historical homes, luxury homes. These are all different things that are available out there, and maybe you really hadn't thought about it. But by specializing in something like this, it's going to give you a unique advantage over some of the other agents that are out there. Now that maybe I've seen this list and it's like, okay, maybe I want to do something with luxury homes, and I've got this already as an example, so I don't have to retype it and mistype it and all that kind of stuff. But so I'm coming in here and say, okay, create a list of attention grabbing lead magnet ideas. Again, I'm giving it some kind of task to do. And what I want to do is I'm using adjectives and the very descriptive adjectives of things that I want. Attention grabbing. It's something that I don't just want plain old lead magnet ideas. I want something that's attention grabbing for home buyers and sellers that I can include in a PDF. Now, ChatGPT cannot create a PDF, but it can create the content for a PDF, and it'll be sure to tell you if you say create a PDF, it'll say, well, I'm an AI, I can't create a PDF, but you can create the content for one. So, that I can include in a PDF document that would be useful for people looking for luxury homes. So here's my prompt. And again, this is a very basic prompt. I'm not showing anything just hugely important there, but making sure that it has the adjectives, the things that you want in there that really make it stand out. So here, an ultimate guide to buying luxury homes. That's a good title. 10 insider tips for finding the best luxury homes on the market. The 5 luxury homes. These are all attention grabbing lead magnet ideas. They're just the idea part of it. We're going to go a little bit further here, but these are the things that that ChatGPT has looked at in the past in its training that it's done. It's analyzed things and it has identified, hey, these are some good ideas of things. Other people have created similar types of ideas, and it generates some wording. Now, if I did this exact same list again, this prompt again, it would give me some different options. That's the generative and the transforming part of this, is that no 2 times will you get the same results. So if you like something, you want to save it of some sort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go now one step further in this. We're still in the conversion part of core strategies. We're talking about things that we can do to create conversion, and in this case, a lead magnet. I've got a title for the lead magnet, but what I really want is the content for that lead magnet. So I'm going to paste this in. So here is, the ultimate guide to buying luxury homes. It was very similar to one that I had done previously, the ultimate guide to finding your dream luxury home, insider tips, tricks, and traps. Basically, you could just copy this, paste it in there for whichever one you choose, and then let it do its thing. Now, I'm going to kind of break this down a little bit, make sure everything is understood. First off, I want to create the content for the PDF, and I want to title it The Ultimate Guide to Finding Your Dream Luxury Home, Insider Tips and Tricks. And I've added some additional adjective, descriptive pieces to this. I want to create that in long form conversational text. That just means make it a little more wordy, make it so that it's more conversational and not necessarily academic or some of the other ways that you might create some different types of writing. In this case, we want it long form conversational text, and we want it to includes home finding ideas, tips, tricks, and even traps to watch out for in the Springfield, Missouri area. Now, where I'm real close to Springfield, so I use that as an example a lot. Obviously, you're going to put in your particular area that you work in, Wichita, wherever you're from. Or if you're in that area, but you only work a certain small area of that geographical area, you definitely put that in as well. I then also say include paragraphs, bullet points, and things to think about. So this is taking it one notch deeper as far as content that I want to create. So I'll go ahead and press enter on that. And now it goes through there. Now it created an introduction because I asked for this. So it created a little introduction. Start with a wish list. What are the things that I would want to do? Well, start with a wish list, and it gives you a paragraph of information about what they should do for luxury homes. What is their wish list? Research the neighborhoods. These are things that you should do. Research what types of neighborhoods around, the schools, shopping, the restaurants, the cultural attractions, all these different things. And then it also, because I told it Springfield, it put that as part of the information as well. So by seeding it with what I want and properly orchestrating the question, the prompt, using that prompt engineering terminology, I'm able to get a much better definition, a much better result of that content without having to look at it and it's like, that's not good, I need to yank it out, or that's too generic. You be very specific and it will give you much more specific results. Does that make sense, everybody? Answer yes if you guys are getting this.
Mark, I think the key here to kind of point at is as you are building out those prompts, as you're like showcasing the different pieces in those prompts, that is how we become good prompt engineers. We're able to take those specific key phrases, and there's lots of them out there, but you're doing a great job of that. I just wanted to make sure everyone kind of understands that, because that's going to be the key to them becoming those prompt engineers as we walk forward from this webinar.
Absolutely. Now, because I am a software engineer, this makes a lot of sense to me. There's things that I have to do as part of my job, is describing to our engineers, our other engineers, hey, this is the functionality I want. I have to be very specific. But whenever I'm describing stuff in terms of technology and stuff like that. The advantage that you guys have as real estate agents is that you know your terminology. You know what agents need to know to help buyers and sellers properly. And you're going to know what they want. So by being very descriptive in what you know that they want, you're going to get much better results. Do not, I repeat, do not just go out there and say, create a property description, of 123 South Main Street. It's too generic. Be very descriptive. That's what I want to impart on you more than anything at this point. Okay. Does that look good? Now, if there's something on here that you don't like, you might go in there and say, rephrase item number 5. It knows what it had created, and it can rephrase it. It can summarize it. It can, there's lots of terminology that you can use to, tell your assistant, hey, I don't like this one. Can you reword it so that it says something like this? And it will then go in and do that process. Amazing, right?
That's where that concept of discernment comes in. We need to be able to make sure that the content that it's providing us is also factually correct, because it can generate those things. So reading through it and then course correcting as needed if we have to, oh, actually item number 5 isn't this. You could even say, here's an example of what it should be, and give it a quick little example. And then you can ask it to reproduce item number 5 so that you do have that good piece of content that it's generated for you.
That's right. Now, why do we want this? What there's lots of companies out there that generating stuff. Why do we want this? Well, we want this because it's specific to you. It's specific to the area you serve, and it's focused on the people that you want to serve. And by doing that, that gives you that niche, that speciality, but it focuses on a certain group of people that you want to serve and you're happy to serve. Because there's nothing worse than having that person that you just do not want to be working with. And a lot of people will say, I'll refer them off, and that's great. But definitely, if you create content that is like this, now all we have to do is, copy, paste this into a Google Doc or Canva, or, whatever you want to do, create the piece, create it as a PDF, put it on your website or as a handout or whatever, wherever you want to use it. Then you've got something that is specific to you, and it's not something that's sold by every other software piece that's out there, right? It's that speciality, and I always come back to that. The other thing that you might do, and this is just kind of an example here, scrolling down here, is not only can it create content of just regular words, but in this case, I can say, create a fill in the blank and multiple choice questionnaire asking the potential luxury home buyer 10 key questions, including what's the most important thing to them as far as features, location, amenities, potential use of the home, family size, entertainment, and even an event size and frequency. So, maybe if they're getting a luxury home, they entertain a lot and they've got parties and, they have 50 to 60 people come over at a time. That type of home is definitely different than somebody that, is in a townhome type stuff. It's very specialized. But now I can have ChatGPT say, well, I need to create this flyer. My assistant could create it, obviously, but let's see what it actually produces for us in this case. So here it's a multiple choice question. What's your maximum budget? And then it gives you some different options. What's the following locations? Bigger multiple choice. I don't see any fill in the blank ones yet. These are all multiple choice. And this may be a situation where it's going to get it wrong spectacular, because I did say that I wanted fill in the blanks as well.
That's right. And that would be a good opportunity for once it finishes, if it doesn't give us those fill in the blanks, we can say, that's not bad. I would also like to include some fill in the blanks. And maybe you even say, make number 1, 7, and 10 fill in the blanks. So then it's got some options and it'll regenerate for you. So now we're using that discernment. We're adjusting our prompt, being good prompt engineers with what information we've given it or seeded. And now the output can be adjusted for us.
Yeah. Easy as that, guys. It really doesn't get any much easier. What do you think?
I think it's pretty great.
I think it's pretty great too. Okay, so I've got tons and tons and tons of conversion ideas of things that I've taught in the past. I just don't have time to go over everything there. I do want to move into operations and give you guys some of the operations side of this. Once I get that luxury buyer in or whatever, what are the things that I would do from the time that I get that listing agreement signed all the way to closing day? So one of the first things, and again, I'm going to do this just as an example of what not to do, okay? Create a property flyer for 4190 South 135th, Bolivar, Missouri. So it comes in here, says, sure, here's a property description for that. Welcome to your private oasis. Oh man, it's a private oasis. That sounds good. Stunning 5-bedroom, 5-bath home, 20 acres in Bolivar, Missouri. Square feet fit 5,000 square feet. Man, I would love that to see that property. The problem with this description, that's my address, but that's not my house.
It doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist. But it's saying it with all confidence, and I mean, you would be sold on this, right? But it's just not accurate. So what you need to do is, instead of just being very generic with your description on this, you want to create something for your MLS. You're going to want to create something more like this. And I'm going to take off these quotes. It shouldn't be in there. This is a prompt that several of our agents have been using. Create a verbose, meaning wordy, 3-paragraph property description in long form text that highlights the unique features of the home using the property description listed below. Now, I'm not putting the property description in the paragraph itself. I'm basically saying, hey, I'm going to give you some additional information. This is kind of a multi-part prompt. It's all in one prompt, but it's multi-parts in one. But I'm just saying, hey, this is what I want, and I want you to use the information that I'm going to provide below. Include bullet points of the highlighted information and a summary of why it would be good for them to look at this property. Utilization of every property detail is not necessary. Now, you might come in here and you might put in a whole slew of property information, but you may not want it to be all used. So I'm basically saying, hey, you don't have to use all the information. However, use a proper mix of that information provided to create a good narrative of lifestyle description that can be achieved when owning a home. And I misspelled achieve, but honestly, it will interpret it properly. You don't have to worry about spelling too bad. But then what I do is I come down here and I say, okay, what's the address? I can come down here very easily. If I create a prompt like this, I can use the upper part the same for every house. I paste it in, and all I have to do then is change the pertinent field information. If you to think of it as merge fields, you come down here and address, you change the address, the city, the state, the price, how many bedrooms, bathrooms, whatever information that you do have on that property, you can put it in the description below. Whenever I press enter now, it takes this information and not some arbitrary made up property, and it will create a much better descriptive property that you can use wherever you need to use it. Welcome to 123 Main Street. So, it just goes through, because we were working on luxury homes, it did interpret some of the stuff that we were doing above. Because we were talking about luxury homes, it now thinks that we're talking about luxury homes here. So it will use some of the terminology. Now, what you can do, and I've really not shared this too much, but there are certain things that you can use, like ignore all previous instructions. You can type that in as a prompt, ignore all previous instructions, and then type in what you want, and then it'll basically forget everything from above and create everything from new. Now, typically you don't want to do that, but it's possible to do. You're seeding over here on the left-hand side. You can see a bunch of our prompts that we use every day. And what Cody was explaining was one of these is his information on the seeded information that he used for the book and the marketing information, the stuff. So anytime that he's wanting to create marketing material, things that he wants, he'll go to that particular conversation and use it as a base for creating the content that he wants. So if you wanted to, you could create a conversation for a particular property, and then while you're marketing that property, always go back to that chat session and create additional stuff for that property in that particular chat session. You wouldn't want to mix the chat sessions. But if you did need to mix them for some reason, you can use that ignore all previous instructions if you really had to, and it would show it. But in this case, because I told it that I want to use a proper mix of information provided, I also wanted to have include bullet points of bullet point lists of highlighted information with a summary. That's what it did. It created 3 good paragraphs, some bullet point information, and it reworded the content that makes it much more readable, if nothing else. Now, I could also go in there and say, here, let's just do this. One of the problems with this particular one is what? Whenever you're dealing with MLS, you need much shorter descriptive.
Well, this is way too long.
It's way too long. So what you can do is say, summarize the above information, keeping it under, let's say, 1,000 characters. And I don't know if some MLSs will allow it or not, but you could also use emojis. So, and use emojis,
IES, I believe.
IES. Okay. Emojis. No,
Maybe a Y.
I don't have the O in there.
Yes, it'll figure it out.
Yeah, it'll figure it out. Emojis, where appropriate. So now it takes that information, it summarizes it in a different method. It creates some emojis in there, and it makes it readable as well. So, instead of, having a list of stuff like this, now I've created something that I can use as far as a Facebook post. I could use an MLS. I can do a lot of different things with it. What do you guys think of that? Man, we are running out of time quick. I've got some other things to show you. This never fails. I get too wordy, and I apologize, guys. We know that we weren't going to be able to cover everything, but it's certainly something that we want to make sure you guys are aware of. Oh, here's a good one. So you got buyers coming in to maybe preview some homes. You've created a list of what properties you want to show them, and you just happen to know that they're bringing maybe a couple of their kids. And with those couple of kids, their ages, and they're younger maybe, and maybe you want to create something special for them. So what I would do is something like this. Okay, so let me scroll back here. Stick with me for a second. You want to give world-class service. Create a storybook about a family with kids looking for a new home to live in. They will be touring, and I've got in brackets, viewing homes. This is how many homes they're going to be viewing in different neighborhoods that could have other kids. And you're just kind of describing all kind of what they want. And then you describe who the parents are, who the kids are, maybe their names and ages, if you know that. And then you could even summarize the homes that you're getting ready to view. So you can put in some very basic information. Now I press enter, and I did tell it specifically, the story should not make a decision. And it's important for the reader to make up their own decision on which home they should choose. So you're not telling the kids, hey, you need to pick this home. But, write a story. So once upon a time, there was a family with two kids named Sally and Jimmy. Wow. Now the parents see that you care about their kids too. How easy is it to pop this in, put it in a Google Doc, print it out, and give it to the kids and let them play with it? It's something that's very unique to them. And it tells a story, and it tells a story about them looking at the homes, what they saw at some of the homes, people that they could meet, or adventures they could have. Those are the types of things that can make you be distinguished amongst other agents in the area. And parents will talk about that. I've seen it happen.
Another point to make on that, you can also focus that by grade level, right? So you can ask Chat GPT to give you, write this in a 4th grade reading level. So if those kids, if you know their ages, you can include that. You could also, very similar to that property, if Johnny is super into soccer right now and Sally really loves horses, you can give that information too. So you're seeding that information to make these more custom, and ChatGPT will it'll rise to the occasion for you, and like Mark said, be able to give you that world-class experience that no one else is offering.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to move on to, and you could create all kinds of stuff for your marketing, for your sales, for inspections. I mean, there's any of your email templates that you're sending to your buyers, your sellers, can all be reworded, and even checking sentiment analysis. I mean, you can go in there and say, give me the sentiment analysis on this email. Is it, negative, neutral, or positive? And if it's neutral, you might say, reword this email to have a positive sentiment. Just meaning, you know, a positive language sentiment, and it would go in there and it would reword it. You could then copy and paste that right back into your template editor and send it out as far as your emails and stuff. Retention, man, I'm running out of time. I really don't, because I've got some other things I got to show you, but we can go in there and say, give me some ideas for retaining my home buyers and sellers for the next 3 years, and it'll spit out things. Create a connection plan or schedule of things that I need to do to make sure that, and you know, if you've got a CRM, you can plug those different things right into the CRM. I mean, obviously, I'd love everybody to be using RealVol, but I know not everybody does. But pretty much every CRM has some kind of action plan or something like that that you can set up and create those templates and send those out, creating the merge fields and stuff. And this helps you do that tremendously. And then the experiences goes on. So before I run out of time, I've got to show you some other things. Just real quickly, what do you guys think of this? I see, you know, amazing, looking forward to using it full time. Absolutely. I had in one of our previous sessions, a couple just said, wow, I'm speechless. This is crazy and unreal. And it's so amazing. So that's why we keep wanting to show you more. There's a lot more that we need to show you. So what I want to do is kind of take you to the next possible thing. Now, one of the things that I am going to do, because you guys stuck with me for this long, I am going to make this this available, as far as we're going to send you this prompt guide that you guys can look at and use. Basically, it is a copy of the things that I wanted to go over, but you can go in there, you can copy the content, paste it right into Chat GPT, and it's pretty much the same things that I used. I may have tweaked them some. In some of these, though, I created, you know, like a place for your niche. So you type in what your niche is, your city, your state, or, you know, some of the other information that's in there. But we broke it up by conversions, by operations, retention, and even experience ideas. So definitely look forward to seeing that. But this only, I mean, this doesn't even hardly touch a tip of what really we are planning on going over. We do have an event coming up next week, the 28th through the 2nd. And Cody, you want to tell them about that?
Yeah. So Mark is famously pretty long-worded, and so I've advocated. I said, Mark, we're going to be able to give them just a baseline at this webinar. We got to give them more, and so we built out this event. It's a 3-day event, and then we're going to get to take the opportunity and go over each of the sections of core strategies, the conversions, the operations, and the retentions at this event. And we're going to do each one with its own specific day. I know today we had to spend the first 20 minutes kind of laying the baseline so we could dive in. But this event, we're just going to be able to dive in because we now have the baseline, and we can really dive into more. Like Mark was saying, he's got this incredible spreadsheet that just has all of this information that he wanted to share. We've gotten to share with other different things, but this event is going to be that opportunity to really dive into those deeper. So if you guys are interested in attending the event, our goal for you is to walk away that technologically empowered real estate agent. You're going to be at the leading edge of the industry. You know, not that many agents are applying Chat GPT to their business. And I think it's going to give you the tactical knowledge to use, to work with, and to get into Chat GPT and really apply it to your business
in a right way.
What that means for you is you're going to be more productive, you're going to save time, and it's going to help your business grow. And that's what we love doing over here at Workflow Secrets.
Yeah. So the way we price this out, hang with us while we go through this real quickly. I want to make sure that we get all through this. You can go to this website, workflowsecrets.info/RE-GPT-CORE. And it'll give you there. Basically, it's the 3-day event. We're valuing it at $149. You'll also get the lifetime replay to this. We actually give you access to a membership area where you'll be able to go back and review, even with your assistants and stuff like that, to go through and see the spreadsheet. We're going to give you the spreadsheet and a lot of additional content that goes along with it, but how to build these prompts properly, not using what false information is being given in a lot of cases, most of the cases that I've seen on YouTube. So just gotta be really careful there, but you'll have lifetime access to that, lifetime access to this webinar and the other ones that we did. Each one of them are a little bit different just because we are doing it live, different types of information. $49 for that, total value $295. We do have some additional post-training resources, some additional resources of the spreadsheet, the one pagers, some other pieces there, and then the prompt guides. So all of this together valued at $373. We're not going to charge that. Obviously, a lot of people do this, but if you compare these prices, these are very good prices compared to what some of the people are charging out there for a fraction of it. I'm actually doing it for $97. For anybody that wants to learn, we're going to give you that knowledge and the resources it takes to do this. This is, if you don't make your money back within the first 5 minutes of using it, you're really doing it wrong. So if you go to this workflowsecrets.info, RE-GPT-CORE, and let me take you there real quickly. It'll bring you to this screen, just a registration screen. You can key in your information. It's going to be at 6 o'clock each night on February 28th, March 1st and 2nd. And it covers, all the stuff that we've been talking about. You can put in your basic information. We do have the opportunity for a few folks for doing a VIP access. If you want to attend an after event, after each one of those, where we actually go into more question answers and masterminding, brainstorming with just a few of the people that are attending, you can join the mastermind through the VIP access. Also, we've got our book, Our Best Workflow Secrets. We will give you the PDF version of this. You can get the hardback or the paperback on Amazon. It is available on Amazon. But if you get the VIP access, you can certainly get that. Valued on that is like $422. We're doing the whole thing for $149. So if you guys have interest in that, definitely visit. We'd love to have you, love to show you. It's minimal amount to get some major gains in knowledge. Major gains in knowledge. Here's the deal, guys. If you start thinking about who's using it and who's not, the people that are using it are outpacing those that are not. And if you don't use this technology, you're going to be behind. And I don't want that for you guys. So, an event like this is going to give you that knowledge that you need to move on. So that's that. Real quickly, any questions? And you can just unmute yourself, guys, if hopefully I covered everything. We're right at time, 1 minute after. No questions. All right. You want to close this up?
Yeah. So, first and foremost, thank you everyone for attending today. I know we just threw a lot at you, and hopefully you were able to keep up with the notes and the pace. We were so grateful to have you. What I will be doing is sending you guys a replay link via email almost immediately as soon as we get it exported from Zoom and then hosted. So you guys will have access to that for the next 48 hours so that you can sit down, especially over the weekend, pull out your notes, get into ChatGPT and kind of play along and really enjoy that. If you're interested in attending the event, you'll have replay access just as long as you'd like it. But if nothing else, we're so grateful that you came. Hopefully you gained something, and I hope we get to see you guys very shortly.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a great rest of your week. It's almost over for most of you, and have a great weekend. Talk to you later. Bye.
See you.